Hey folks, we are live. So, going to be a great show tonight. We've got a new guest on here tonight. Hold on, let me mute that. We have got Celtic Roots Farm on here, a channel up in New Hampshire, small farm and homestead, and we're going to chat with them, get to know them. And I see there's a bunch of folks in here. Jay had done an announcement yesterday or this morning, I'm not sure, and had kind of announced that he was going to be on his live. So we got a bunch of folks in here. I'm not familiar with those channels. I'll have to go check them out after our live tonight. And so fantastic, excited about that. So. Everybody knows we did not go live last week. We took, Lala and I took a long-deserved vacation. We very rarely do that other than go camping, and that's generally for the weekend. But we took an entire weekend off and an entire week off, and went to see our daughter, her husband is is a chief corpsman in the Navy. Stationed up in Bremerton, in the Bremerton, Washington area. So we went up there and visited with them for a week, saw our granddaughters that we hadn't seen in 6-7 months. Just had a wonderful time, did a lot of sightseeing while we were up there. Everybody that's kind of followed our channel for a bit knows that I'm a huge kind of military buff. I love to kind of tour old military bases and forts. Well, up there, I found out when I got up there, they have a Vietnam era destroyer. So I was able to go on a tour of that, put that video together as soon as we got back. So that was put up I think Monday of this week. Getting good feedback, but it was amazing, and I enjoyed it because it kind of brought me back. Allow me to reminisce about my time in the military. And so most of the folks on here, I kind of know your background, know the veterans. So if you're new to the channel and you are a veteran, welcome. I have a soft spot in my heart for all military veterans, and I welcome you over to our channel. So other than we went up there. We got back on Sunday. Had a great time visiting up there. What else we got? Kind of had an issue, an event happen. That's kind of funny. While we were up in Washington, I get a call from my son, Little Rick, and Rick says the police are at my door. What do you mean the police are at your door? So the local EMS dispatched 3 police officers. And they're knocking on his front window, and he opened up. Now my son's in law enforcement, and he opened up the front door. I said, "What's going on?" He said, "Well, we had a report that somebody is screaming help." And so he opened up the door, and lo and behold, he's listening, and he's hearing. He knows what it is. It's our loudest goat. It's Patrick. Now, Patrick is the one, if you recall, we took up to West Virginia this year for the Kiko buck test, and he finished first in the ribeye, which is the kind of the rib cage area for rib cage development. So we retained that buck on farm, and we're going to breed him. Well, the problem with Patrick is Patrick likes to be fed, and when he doesn't get fed, when he wants to get fed, he's going to let everybody within a mile radius know that he's hungry. So Rick called us when we were up in Washington and said, "Listen, I got 3 cops at my door," and he had to kind of de-escalate the situation and explain to these police officers. This is my son, Little Rick, for those that are newer to the channel. Had to de-escalate the situation. Talk to police officers, got it figured out, and everybody was happy. They left. So.
At first, I didn't even know what it was. I didn't even know what they were talking about because we're so acclimated to listening to him. And so, whenever they said, "Hey, we got somebody saying that there's somebody screaming help on your property," of course I'm like, "Well, Mom and Dad are gone right now. I'm the only one on all 21 acres. I need to go check this out." And so I hauled butt onto the property with a flashlight and a gun. I was ready to make sure that nobody needed any help.
Yeah. So flash forward to an hour ago. I'm kind of, so leading up to tonight's live, we had some of our very good friends to the channel kind of do, you know, it was kind of a stacked sequence starting about 6:15. MB Heritage went on and did a 15-minute premiere. Then Jules Small Space Gardening came on and did a 15-minute premiere. And then immediately prior to this was Boone Child. You know, so I hope that we can keep that up. That'd be a really, really cool thing to continue with. But in the middle of, toward the end of MB Heritage premiere tonight, so it's about 10 minutes into it, I get a phone call from Lala, and she says, "The police are here again." I'm like, you got to be kidding me. So last week it was the people that live behind Rick. Now Rick lives on the back side of the property. It was the people behind him across the road. So tonight it was the people that live across from us on the hard road, and they called the police on. So 3 cruisers show up again tonight. Well, this time they climbed over the four rail fence, over the 4x4 goat and sheep fence, and they're in the pasture with the bucks. All I can say is that officer is darn lucky that Jarl did not know he was there, because he would have probably been laid out flat. So that was pretty gutsy. So somebody else called the cops on us tonight.
Not only that, but apparently EMS was activated too. But
yeah, when they got there, the police officers got out of their car and started listening, and they heard help, because that's what Patrick sounds like. It sounds like a man yelling help. And so when they heard that, they immediately called EMS. So now there's 3 cops and an ambulance on the way to the farm. And Kimberly, she didn't know who was in. She just saw a human in the pasture and started going off on him. "What are you doing in there?" And then he kind of said, "You know, listen, I'm a police officer." And they kind of got it figured out, straightened out, and they ended up canceling the dispatch of the ambulance. And got it figured out. So they're gonna, I guess there's some list at the police department. They're going to put us on that list of for calls of help to this property. It's a go. Patrick is a very loud goat.
You better not walk in any more 2x4s and start yelling help, though.
So if we ever really have a problem, we're going to be in deep trouble.
Papa has about concussed himself a couple times walking and hitting 2x4s, or the roof that we're putting in for the pigs. Oh man. Imagine yep. Papa being out there, help! I don't worry about it.
It was pretty funny. Hopefully, you know, we've got now, all we have is 3 neighbors left that could call the cops on us, and we've talked to one of them or 2 of them. So, you know, we might have to do like door calls to everybody, and maybe record Patrick and take him a recording that if you hear this, it's a false alarm. Don't call the police. And the police officer has recommended, and this is a new one for me, absolutely cracked me up when Lala told me this, is they want us to do they want us to do signs and hang them all around the wooden rail fence that says "loud goat." And basically telling the police, if anybody gets dispatched or somebody hears it or they see those signs, it's kind of educating them that we have loud goats. Just 1 buck. And he's from last year's kid crop, and he's really probably the best buck on the farm, so he ain't going nowhere. My neighbors are going to have to suffer through this. I'm just looking forward to breeding him next year.
That's what I told Mama. I said, do not take that out on that buck, because that buck is he ain't doing anything wrong. He just happens to be just as loud as my son Patrick, which is why of course we named him.
That's why he's named Patrick. So we may end up leasing him to another farm over in the Panhandle. We're kind of working on that now. Because,
do they have a bunch of neighbors? We'll have to.
They don't have any neighbors over there. They don't have any neighbors over there. They're in the middle of nowhere. So he might end up going to another farm, but we're still going to own him and we'll lease him. But that way we're going to get some improved genetics coming out on the doe side, hopefully, back over here. But that was the event leading up to this live tonight. Lala just come in like 5 minutes. Literally, I was still talking to her 2 minutes before I pressed the live button about how she resolved the police officer issue. So it's been an exciting evening. We got a bunch of folks in here tonight, 27, and is what I've got recorded here. So CNWTR, welcome. KG5MOC Hanson, Oak Knob Farm, The Robe. I'm going to butcher this one, the Marazinski Family Homestead. Hopefully I'm close on that. Down Under Fella, that's my buddy Brad down there in the Down Under. Then we got our buddies up in North Carolina, MB Heritage Farm. Paula Wells, moderator extraordinaire, welcome. Laughter on Water, Jules, Small Space Gardening, another one of my North Carolina buds, Boone Child, another North Carolina channel, Love Boone, Adventures on the Homestead, Michael Marchone. Thanks for the comment on that destroyer video, Michael. That was awesome. I responded to you. Who else we got in here? Kyle Randall. Hey, welcome, Kyle. How are you, buddy? And we got Pathways Homestead. Pathways, welcome. I got your comment. I haven't responded to it yet about being history nerds, and I am right there with you. And there's kind of a fundamental difference in philosophy about how our YouTube channel goes forward. We're always going to have homesteading issues. We're always going to have small farm issues. We're always going to have topics related to farming. I like to kind of reflect what our family does, and in my case, that's history. So when I go to a museum, I want to record it. I want to put it on YouTube. And Rick will kind of argue with me that it really doesn't fit, and it probably doesn't, but I enjoy it, and so we put it up there. Trying to get him, he loves saltwater fishing. It's not a farming thing. Trying to get him to put some content up there with that, but he has yet to do it, although you would be amazed by what he catches. So Pathway Homestead, they said that they're kind of history nerds, and I love that. And they actually went on a living history museum for their honeymoon, which is even more awesome. So you are my people. Ginger Ninja, I owe you a mug. It's going out this week. Lala's got it on her desk at work, so that'll be going out to you. Rancho Magnolia, that's a cool channel. Started following them a few weeks ago. Welcome. Who else? Brenda Baker, welcome. Ann Miller, hello, how are you? Isaac Fowler Farm. Met Isaac when we were over at the Gulf Coast Homesteaders meetup. He's got a cool channel over there, does a lot of kind of farming and startup videos, stuff like that. Pretty cool. Motivated young man Isaac is, so go over and check him out. Tina Ladybug, welcome. I think
Michael's name is Michael Marchone.
Marchone?
I'm pretty sure it's Marchone.
Oh, Michael was
the guy that his name is spelled the same way in his last name.
Michael was a CB in the Navy, so it's construction field. So that was pretty cool. Kyle Randall says crying wolf. I guess it's in relation to the goat. We're not crying wolf. Patrick is crying wolf. Kyle. Yogi that's a tongue twister. Yogi.
Hey, Seed Faith, how are you?
Farm. All right, so I think I've greeted everyone that's in here. I think I'm up to date. No, I did not. Nisi, Freehandly Made, welcome. Little Frenchie in Big Texas. And I have decided that I am getting me some more Versailles. Lala, for some reason, I don't know if she's bumped her head or if she's woke up. Maybe that's what it is. She has been enlightened about the value of chickens on this farm. She asked me yesterday the question, hey, what do you think about breeding chickens? And I'm like, I didn't think I'd ever hear those words from her mouth, because she hates my chickens. She hates the chickens at the back coop. So you might be seeing more chicken videos, which would make me happy. I just saw MB Heritage before we come on here, so I might be making a trip up there in North Carolina to get me some of them blue lace Wyandottes, or red blue lace Wyandottes. They look like beautiful birds. Our Okie Homestead. Yes, bud.
I'm ready to introduce this fellow with a 10-inch beard.
You're just looking forward to the beard. So those of you that have not seen our lives before are going to see the ultimate in male weirdness come out when you see my son.
Yeah.
No, he's not talking about that. He's not. So Jay just showed us his butt, and we're not talking about your butt, man. We're talking about the beard. What is that? Did this go off? Or did you put something up, Ricky? Oh, okay.
No.
So
I didn't know you guys could see me.
Because I was showing off the man's beard.
Well, before we get started, I want to say thank you to 3 channels that we kind of did a collaboration tonight, which I am incredibly grateful and thankful for. So I kind of mentioned a little bit earlier. So I got an email from Jules Small Space Gardening a couple of days ago, asking if we could kind of do some stacking lives. And I said, absolutely. It's something that we had talked about a few weeks ago. And so Jules just grabbed the bull by the horn, went and did it. So I appreciate that so much, Jules. So at 6:15, MB Heritage Farm came on and talked about poultry standards, which was really an incredible, it was a good video. They did 3 stacking premieres. So if you don't know MB Heritage, go check MB Heritage Farms out. At 6:30, Jules Small Space Gardening came on, and Jules talked about, him and his wife, they just kind of talk about things at 6:30. So they made vegetable soup. Chef Beth did. And then Jamie kind of went on a garden tour, and they pondered why graham crackers are called graham crackers, which that's a really good question, because I don't know what a graham spice is. What is that? Why are they called graham crackers? That was Jamie's closing comments on Jules Small Space Gardening. Thoughts to ponder.
It sounds like a question you'd ask whenever all your windows are rolled up and you should not be smoking.
So then at 6:45, the lovely Moonchild came on and was talking about a small little, I don't know what you'd call it, like a little greenhouse that she's got for growing herbs inside over the winter. So really cool. All 3 of them were fantastic premieres. So hopefully we can kind of keep that up and maybe bring you kind of an hour and a couple hours of entertainment every Wednesday night. That would be awesome. So Petways 3 Creek Farms, welcome. And without further ado, I'm going to let my son go weird for it. Well, hold on. No, one more second. I had a lot. Since we didn't go live last week, I got a lot to talk about. So, brief mail call. So we got from Black's Tropical Homestead, we got some stickers from them this week. Black's Tropical Homestead is going to be on the live on the 22nd of December. They are some brothers and sisters from right up the road in Savannah, Georgia, or Garden City, which is kind of a suburb. My Alabama Farm Life, the wonderful Kathleen, sent us a sticker from not only her farm, My Alabama Farm Life, but also My Aussie Garden and Kitchen, Daz. So thank you, Kathleen. Much appreciated.
Let me see the one with the deer head on it.
Huh?
Let me see the one with the deer head.
That's My Alabama Farm Life. That's Kathleen over in Alabama. She comes through on I-10 quite often. I'm trying to convince her to stop by the farm one time. She hadn't done it yet. And then Sandy from Suburban Homesteader, Wyoming and Arizona. Sandy, if you don't know that channel, you need to get over there and check that out. Sandy is an absolute blessing. Little bit of everything. That woman can introduce you to stuff that you've never even thought about. Like I never thought about where vanilla extract comes from, but she was making it by the gallons with cheap alcohol. It was pretty amazing videos. And then lastly, Gail's Southern Living, otherwise known as Coupon Gail, sent us a Christmas card. So much appreciated, Gail. Our Christmas cards hopefully will go out by the end of this week. Lala's working on that. And without further ado, go weird, Rick.
I just want to see it. It is so majestic. I do have a question. I do have a question for the lady in the room. So how do you feel about his beard?
I love his beard.
That's what
He's the
I'm
one that got
talking
me
about.
started.
Here, hold on. Before you guys start talking, I'm gonna try to kick up your mic a little bit.
So I was joking. So this is Jay and Cheryl. Cheryl, we have not talked. I talked to Jay a little bit earlier, and you know what's weird is how and this is completely unintentional. We keep attracting channels where the men have these really incredible beards, and I think it's just making my son really jealous.
Well, I mean, I do like a beard.
This is the best that he can do because he's in law enforcement.
Yeah.
I was in for, 3 or 4 years
Yeah.
back in New Jersey.
In law enforcement?
Yeah.
Very cool.
I know you weren't growing a beard like that in New Jersey. You worked in law enforcement for sure.
Well, some of the older videos that I saw with you, Jade, you kind of had a beard, but it wasn't nothing like this. How long you been working on that?
I typically shave it in the summertime, just gets too hot.
They did this year.
Yeah, I didn't.
Hey,
this
Paula,
year.
let me know if their mic is loud enough for you guys, please.
I can try turning it up if you want.
Give it let the extraordinaire tell us, because I turned your mic up to 200, so it should be a little bit better now.
We got some more folks here. Thor Haven Farm, welcome. Glad to have you. Lakes in the Woods Homestead, met them over in the Gulf Coast meetup as well. So welcome. All right, you can continue, Rick.
No, so usually it's not as loud as y'all's, but it did get better. Okay, awesome. So usually what I do is the whole thing. I don't know how often you guys the beard, but I watched your beard maintenance video that you just put out, and Dad, I'm telling you, this fella, he really takes a lot of pride in his beard, because he talked about split ends in a portion of it, and how touching your beard constantly will create split ends.
I'm not sure what this means. So Ginger Ninja says beards make a man look like he means business, but on a woman, she just looks scary. So are you talking about the beard? I would bet. I would absolutely bet that's the case. I'm going to turn around and run.
The Amish women, the ones that grow beard. Yeah, no.
I've never seen that, to be
Everybody has
honest.
a hand that has a little something.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, he said that running your hands constantly through your beard creates split ends. So I'm not going to run my hands through his beard, nor expect him to do that. But I do want to say that your beard is very, very nice. And then I'll just leave it at that, maybe until the end when I comment again until, I'll compliment your beard more than Alexa did in that video.
That's a lot.
It is.
Well, I asked Rick yesterday. I said, "Do the thumbnail for this," and I said to myself when I asked him that question, "This thumbnail will have something to do with a beard," and the whole thumbnail is the beard.
Oh. Right up the nostrils.
Said Rick Jr., you are echoing.
Beard's been.
You're echoey?
Rick, you said Paula's saying you're echoing.
Probably. I don't know whose side it is. I'll keep mine muted if I'm not talking.
I've got everything muted. So let's get down to brass tacks here, you two.
Right.
How long you had your homestead?
About
4 years.
a little over 4 years, I believe. Yeah,
July we bought it.
July 2017.
So what, and I get asked this question, or the first time I was ever on live, I was asked this question, and it really kind of got me thinking. I'm like, that's a really, really kind of insightful question. How do you define the difference between, do you consider yourself homesteaders, preppers, or a combination of both?
I think both. I've heard the term farmsteader, and I kind of like that.
Yeah.
Because I think the difference is we're selling, as well as trying to be self-sustainable. So I think that kind of might be the difference. I'm not sure.
Hmm.
So, we do farmers markets.
I'm trying, Paul. I know it's echoing. I'm trying.
Cheryl, you said something. I didn't hear you.
Yeah, we started with the idea that we were going to grow enough food for ourselves, raise enough, animals to support our family. We've always had gardens. We've never had the land to be able to um, support growing our own animals. We right now we're doing pigs and we have chickens and things like that. So, but this is the first time in the 4 years that we've been able to actually grow enough or raise enough meat to support our family.
How many acres are you on, or how large is your place?
25.
All right, well that's a good size. I mean, we're doing goats and we got some pigs and chickens, and we've got to get to the point where the day-to-day life does not get in the way. I would love to do what you're doing in terms of a market garden and something like that, but I don't think I'm going to get there for probably several years. I'd be happy if we can get to the point where we're growing for ourselves and preserving that, but it takes a lot of time.
That'll be this year. We're gonna make it happen this year.
I mean, it just takes a lot of time.
We didn't have any intention of starting that this year. We just kind of jumped in both feet and said we just need to do it, and that's how it started.
Do you guys work off the farmstead?
Yep.
See, that's the same. I mean, that's kind of the universal thing, is that nobody gets into this and this is their full-time gig, is homesteading or farmsteading or whatever you want to call it, that everybody's got their full-time money making stuff. And this is, I hate to call it a hobby because it's really not, but it's to me, it's kind of a hobby slash lifestyle slash my happy place, where I'm at, that helps me kind of get rid of the stress from the week and come down and say, this is what I enjoy doing.
Right.
Yeah. We have a lot of we wanted to get into the Highland cattle. I just saw Thor Haven Farm mention that, and that's something, a long-term goal that we have. Hopefully it's not such a long-term goal, but we came really close like last week to getting two. It was a really good deal, but we had to kind of take a step back, and we just weren't set up for it yet, and we just kind of, it was like $1,600 for a female and a calf, and I was like, man, you can't get cheaper than that.
Right.
But
well, if you've looked at kind of our channel over the last really month, we've been building this new livestock barn. It's a smaller one, we've got our large goat barn in the back, but this one is really kind of right up front beside the house, and that's one of we're going to have basically two feeder calves, 2 feeder pigs, and all of our Nigerian bucklings will be up in that front barn. So there's be 3 goats, 2 calves, and 2 pigs on probably 3 acres. And then we'll send one calf to market, or not to market, 1 calf to slaughter each year, and that will provide the beef. I mean, we already do that with our goats. We generally send 2 goats a year, the culls from our breeder stock. And that kind of weirds people out. The first, when we were at the fair this year, at our county fair, one of the most common question was, what do you do with goats? Because they say, do you like goat milk? And I said, these are not milkers. We've got Kikos is what we have. We've got Kikos and we've got some Nigerian dwarfs. Do you drink goat milk? I said, no, we don't. We don't milk any of them. The Kikos we use for meat, and we sell breeder stock. And that just weirds people out when they say, meat goats. You eat goat? Yeah, goat's really, really good, actually.
So
yeah.
I grew up in New York, and I was exposed to several different, types of foods, and goat, and is one of, pretty popular in some of the cuisines of different areas that I grew up in. So it really is a good meat.
What part of New York?
I was talking to
Brooklyn.
Brooklyn.
Oh, the real that New York.
The New York.
The New York.
I was talking to a guy that came out to where I used to work, which is still, in prison, but it's shut down currently. But they were walking around looking at fire alarm panels, and he was from Cuba. And, talking to him, and I asked him, I said, what do you miss most about home? And he said, to be honest with you, he said two things. He said, in America, diversity is eating away at just like the human population. Everybody's trying to diversify and figure out the differences between one another. And he said in Cuba, it's a lot less diversity. He said, and then food. He said the food here in America is boring, and it's kind of true. We eat fish, we eat chicken, we eat pork, we eat beef, and we only eat certain parts of every single one of those.
Yeah.
Where elsewhere they eat all of it. It's not awkward to walk in and eat pig snout, pig hoof, and cow tongue and stuff like that. So
I guess
if anybody was wondering what a Highland cow was, this is a Highland cow. So they're pretty cool looking. They're and I know somebody said something about the best beard is a Highland cow. And that, I'm pretty sure that Jay's giving him a run for his money, but I would have to agree with that. So, and that's the last time I'm mentioning your beard until the end, but
If you're from Scotland, they call it a coo.
Yeah.
A coo?
A coo.
Yeah, I don't know. It's just the way they say it.
That's the beard? Is the coo?
No, the cow.
The cow.
Oh, all right.
Cow, coo.
I guess
I wanted to make a T-shirt with a Highland cattle that says, I kissed a coo and I liked it.
that would be interpreted different ways. And
It would, yes. Why you didn't do it.
Yeah.
I don't think everybody get that joke.
Sometimes they pop in. I got to pop them right back out.
So let me ask you this. Who was responsible? How did you come to the decision to get these Idaho pasture pigs?
Everything's her.
Really?
I didn't even want a homestead.
Well, you pull it off well in your videos.
I like it now, but originally I didn't have a whole lot of experience with farming or anything like that. I used to go to my friend's farm. I grew up in New Jersey, and so for fun, we would go and milk cows and stuff on his dad's farm.
All right. Well, so what part of New Jersey? Like
Sussex. It's right where New Jersey.
Northern.
Right,
Okay.
northern, right where New Jersey, New York, and Pennsylvania meet. It's all farmland.
New Jersey gets a really bad rap every time you mention that state, but Lala and I, probably 10 years ago, took a road trip, and we went all the way from the northern part of New Jersey all the way down and took the ferry at the bottom of the state all the way over to Delaware. New Jersey, if you get away, the further you are away from New York, is beautiful.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, it's not too much different than what it looks like here.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, as far as I could point in any direction in where I lived in New Jersey, and it was nothing but farmland. I mean, we were about an hour and a half from New York City, so if you wanted to go in I hated the city, but
Right. That's what we are.
We were in the city with her and her family for almost 2 years, and
I have to go into Jacksonville because that's where I work, but I only got to do that for 2 more weeks, and then Lala's sending me home, so I will work from home for the rest of my life, hopefully.
Yeah, I saw somebody mention the logo on there. I appreciate that. It's actually not. We didn't design it. It's just a traditional Celtic. A tree of life. Yeah. We're actually working on a new logo right now. I posted something that it's kind of encapsulates that and
farm.
The farm, and if you're interested in seeing kind of what we're working on at the moment, it's on our Instagram and also Facebook.
Yeah.
But
So how did you come to the Idaho pasture pig out of all the pig options?
Well, it actually started out when the pandemic started. We were looking around for a source of pork, and we wanted to grow pork for a while, but again, we weren't sure if we were ready for it, or if we knew what we were doing. We didn't want to we didn't want to injure the pigs, or we didn't want to feed them the wrong thing. So, but when the pandemic came, we decided that we wanted to have another source of meat on our homestead. We have chicken, and we also we have our eggs and everything like that.
Mm-hmm.
So out of necessity, that was the only breed that was available to us in this area. So
Really?
that's how that was how we got started.
See, when we started looking at pigs, we just got our first pigs this year, and we didn't get them. We got them as show pigs because our grandchildren want to show them. Now they're going to be feeder pigs, or they are feeder pigs, but they're from actually a show breeder that's a very good friend of ours. But for the longest time, it seems like all the rage when you're talking about these kind of popular homesteading pigs is these coonies. And then from time to time, there's a channel on here, Petway Family Farmstead, Petway's Three Creek Farm. They introduced me to this Idaho pasture pig, and saying it's a better tasting meat. They don't rut as much. And then I was looking at your video, and that's exactly what Jay was saying. It's the best pork he's ever tasted.
Yeah, and he's not a pork eater. I love bacon, I love pork chops, I love everything pork, but he's never been a pork eater, and he absolutely loves.
Yeah. Pork chops I've never had anything like it.
Yeah.
So good, so flavorful. It makes it hard because they're super, super friendly.
Yeah.
And so I try my best not to get attached, but it's hard. Like I said, when they're rubbing on you, and you can't help but just give them some belly, rubs or head scratches.
I'll tell you what, those pork chops do look good.
They are delicious.
Yeah,
they're marbled with the fat. It just tastes so good.
I know if they're anything like coonies, because I did quite a bit of research and stuff like that with the coonies and or coon, however you want to say it. But the meat on your kind of pasture pigs is much more red than traditional pork. So
and there's more marbling in the meat because they eat the grass.
Yeah, this is the Idaho pasture pig pork chops, and they actually look kind of similar. They're not near as hairy as coons, but
they are part coon.
Are they? Okay, all right.
Yes.
Well, that makes sense then. Why they look very similar.
Yeah.
So, do you know what else they're crossed with?
I knew you were going to ask me that. It's three different breeds.
Well, yeah, it's crossed with a really. If Petways was on here, they could tell me exactly what it is, because they breed these Idaho pasture pigs in central West Georgia, and it's crossed with a cooney and one of the more domestic breeds. One of the Yorkshires, or maybe that's what it is.
Something like that.
And
a door rock too, I think.
Yeah, I don't remember. Our friend, actually, he's in New Hampshire here. He has an awesome channel, The Mindful Homestead. Yeah. He raises different types of pigs, but he does it in the woods, and it's pretty cool to see the difference of how they're, how they're living in the wood. They rooting up all the different stuff that they're finding. I've actually learned a lot from his channel just watching what he does. It's completely different than what we do, but I get a kick out of watching ours because they graze like cattle, and they chew up the grass, and then it's like a hairball. They spit out. It's this dried up little hairball that they spit out on the ground or sometimes in their bowl, and they just get all the nutrients out of it and spit it out for some reason.
Well, I know there's a misconception with even goats that goats like grass. Now, if you have goats on grass, I'm not saying that they will not eat grass, but if you put goats out in the middle of the forest, they are going to flourish way better.
They're
than if you were to
browsers.
put them,
Right.
yeah.
Exactly.
If you were to put them in a pasture of grass, because they much rather have the underbrush, the weeds, the vines, the stuff that's not grass, because from what I understand, Lala has told me in the past, I think she said that it's a little sweeter than grass is. And so they like that kind of stuff. And it's my understanding that also kind of goats are somewhat, goats make great tacos. So yeah, ground goat. I love ground goat because it's like it's a thicker, heartier meat than you get in a beef. But as far as like goat steak and stuff, I don't know. I'm not a big. We get pork, we get goat sausage, but you got to mix it a little bit with pork to get that fat in there. But
Pet waste
with pigs, you hear a lot of people say, or they'll grow them out in pens, or even with the pasture pigs, they'll put them out there on pasture where they can graze grass. But pigs love being in the woods and rutting up around trees and I didn't know that. Actually, I learned that from one of the very popular. I can't remember his name right off. Rhodes, Justin Rhodes.
Justin Rhodes.
Yeah, he was letting his pigs clear out a portion of a hill on his property, and it was it was engulfed in trees, like little trees, and they tore those things down like they weren't even there, and just rutted them up and turns the soil, which is great for new growth. So
yeah. A lot of people think that the Idaho pasture pigs don't root up the ground, but they do. I did a video, just a short, because I had so many people asking if they did. Because they're like, I heard that they don't do that. And I'm like, this is a perfect example because we left them in one spot for longer than we usually do. It was about maybe 2 or 3 weeks.
2 weeks, I think it was.
And they destroyed the area. I mean, it was just, but if you continually move them each week or every other week, I mean, or give them a really big area, they will do a lot less damage than other breeds. That, from what I've seen.
How big is when you move them, Jay? How big of an area? Because I saw what you do. You basically take cattle panels and T-posts and make them and contain them, right? And then run electric inside.
That's actually just our setup for this winter. There right now we have a pig fence by Premier One that we use, and we just move it every every 2 weeks.
50-foot pig fences, so they got 100-foot area.
Okay. Are you happy with that fence?
Yeah, so far. I mean, it seems to be working. It zaps them and holds them in there. Holds them in there good. So they did get out once because our ground wire came off, so it wasn't shocking, and they figured that out real quick. And we came out and they were in the woods. And
it was dinner time when I went out, and so I had the bucket. And they just followed me right back in.
They heard the
we
bucket.
Got really lucky.
Yeah, they heard the bucket and they knew it was dinner time. So that was pretty. I was like, I thought they were in their house sleeping, and I'm like, where the heck are the pigs?
Now with that premier fencing, because I've actually made mention of that a couple times to Lala and Papa, because we have a very large section up front by their house of pine trees, and that would be like absolutely. Now, granted, I understand goats are, escape artists and they can jump like deer and all that kind of stuff. But, my thought process is possibly put like, the smaller Nigerian dwarfs or even maybe a Nubian out there to kind of like keep down the underside of these pine trees because they're absolute hell to mow under. But
Premier One has all different varieties. And if you do have a goat that is an escape artist, you could probably go with one of their garden fences, which is like 6 foot high, to keep them in there.
I didn't even know they had that.
Yeah.
Oh, I haven't seen that. I mean, you see those Premier One fences everywhere. I mean, everyone seems to be using them, but it's kind of like I watched your video, Jay, on that yard bird plucker, and it kind of makes me wonder, is the Premier fence kind of like that Yardbird plucker? You see it everywhere, and then you get it, and you know, you're disappointed shortly thereafter, because a lot of people on YouTube, they don't post what doesn't work. They do their video, this is an amazing product, and then you never hear anything else about it because it failed miserably.
Yeah,
Right.
we've been using the fences for 4 years,
Yeah,
and
we like them.
we've never had a problem with them.
Yeah. Yeah, the
And they're
Yardbird
easy to repair too.
and the Yardbird, I get so much hate mail from that video. People think I'm attacking people that like the Yardbird. I mean, that's, if it worked for you, that's great. I was just kind of venting my frustration with that, because we just got it. We had 150 birds to process. We did 7 and it just died.
Yeah.
Right.
And so I called the company, and they didn't want to hear about me. You know, they didn't want to fix it. They didn't want to replace it. They didn't want to hear about it. And I'm like, what the heck? I just bought it.
They're not cheap either.
No. You know, so people were giving me a hard time. We love ours. It works great. That's great. I wish ours worked.
Ours didn't work, and the company wouldn't support us.
So the only thing that saved us was the fact that we bought it on Amazon, and I contacted Amazon, and they said, sure, just box it up and we'll send somebody out and get it. And they gave us a refund. That was the only reason we got a refund on it.
Wow.
So, yeah.
Yeah, we, you know, when you know, only 2 years ago, we did a short video. It's not completely a how-to, because it took me, you know, a couple of weekends to do it, but we built one, you know, kind of the whiz bang plucker. As you'll see those designs all over the internet, and it's, you build your own plucker out of shelf parts. And I could not be any happier with that thing. I could easily, I mean, I could do a 15-pound turkey in there, no problem whatsoever. And if anything breaks, I can pull it apart and replace those parts. I mean, it's really an amazing machine.
The first year that I think I responded to you, the video, you sent a message about that, but our first year doing chickens, we borrowed one from a new friend down the road, and he built this thing. This thing was like just massive engine on it. It took, like, you know, all you could do to move the thing, and this sucker would rip the wings and legs off. I mean, it was just, you know, it needed to be tuned down just a little bit. So I'd have to kind of hit the button, release, hit the button, and just, you know, spin it, stop, you know.
Well, I think we used a half power. I think it's a half horsepower motor from Harbor Freight, and it works like a champ. It's a beast of a machine, and it's not cheap. You know, people say, well, that costs a lot to build. Well, yeah, it does, but if you want good quality, it's not cheap. But it cost me probably $500 to build it, even with off-the-shelf parts, because you can't build like the plate that actually spins the fingers on the bottom of it. That spins. I couldn't make that. That's all machined aluminum on the bottom of it. So I bought those, and they're not cheap because it's kind of a captive market. They can charge what they want for it. So I think, you know, just that plate was like, that was the bulk of the cost of the thing. But you know, it's wonderful.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind trying to build one. I mean, I have a welding background and everything, and you know, with the some of the tools I have, I think I would probably be able to do it. It'd be a fun project to try. But we actually just bought, to replace the Yardbird, we bought a Coops and More, which I heard a lot of good reviews on. Which we actually heard a lot of good reviews on the Yardbird too. So we'll see. We haven't tried it yet.
My wife makes fun of me that I research things ad nauseum before I ever buy it, because I want to see what other people are saying. So, you know, some people say it's analysis paralysis, but I'll look at as many reviews as I can, and there's always going to be favorable, but there's always going to be negatives. It doesn't matter how good the product is, there's always going to be negative reviews on it. So what I'm looking for are lots of reviews saying the same thing.
Right, exactly what I do. I find all the negative ones, and if they start saying the same thing over and over again, I'm like,
If somebody doesn't like the color of it, well, that doesn't, you know.
Yeah, I mean, I learned that early in life. You can't make everybody happy all of the time ever.
Yeah.
So
I drive her crazy because I always try to find. I always end up, without even looking at the price tag, I always seem to find the most expensive thing. It doesn't matter what it is, and it drives her crazy. But I like, you know, I don't want to have to go back and replace something if I didn't, you know, kind of cheaped out on something and then have to replace it later.
You always had expensive hobbies.
Well, this is well, there's the one that I built. I mean, and it's modified from the design plans significantly
Yeah.
because there's certain elements in the design plans that I didn't like. But you know, it works like a champ. So, so what's your future plan? You know, before I do that, let's give something away. So, we got a bunch of people in here, still 34 people in here. By the way, because you guys are guests on our live, I'm going to send both of you a t-shirt. So you just need to go to our merch store, which is on our homepage, on the About page. Go there, pick out the shirt color and size, and send me an email, and we'll get it ordered for you. But
Thank you.
every week we also give one away to the folks that are in our live. We got 34 people in here right now. I am going to pick a number between there's 35 people, between 1 and 50. And when I say go, start throwing your guesses in there, and I'm going to keep a vigilant eye out. So I have the number selected, go.
I saw Thor Haven Farmstead. He only posts mistakes. People seem to like that. I think we've always tried to do that, incorporate, you know, all the things we've messed up on.
Yes.
I've always tried to, you know, show that, look, we don't know what we're doing half the time. We're trying to figure it out, and I think people really respect that. And instead of coming across as an expert on something, especially you know, when it's the first time you're doing something. I mean,
Mulberry Branch Farm is the winner.
Oh,
It was 19. That's one of my favorite channels to watch goat stuff.
Yeah,
So,
I like that channel.
Mulberry Branch Farm, shoot me an email with, again, same thing, go to our merch store that is on the About tab on our homepage. Go check out the merch, pick out your design, color, and size, and send me an email with all that information, and I will get it ordered for you. Generally takes a few weeks, but get that done. Congratulations to Mulberry Branch Farm. All right. I was going to say something earlier, and I can't remember. What's your plan with your market garden?
Well, this year we were involved in 2 very small market gardens.
no, market.
Oh,
You're saying, what's your plan with the market? Are you,
Like
talking
what we're
about
gonna
farmers
grow?
markets and things like
Yeah,
that?
I mean, because I understand from, I guess it was watching one of your more recent videos that you're in the process of now building another greenhouse.
oh yeah,
Well,
yeah.
she wants me to build another one.
Well, everything does start with you, Cheryl.
I know.
I'll never get to the end of that list, ever.
It's okay.
Ever.
It's okay because me and Papa we feel the same exact way about law.
I'm like starting to get through the
Well,
list. I'm feeling
the
good.
reason-
I'm feeling good. And
I'm not-
huh, look, a new
Yeah,
list.
we have right now. How many posts did we set during the summertime, Dad? There was. I mean, I think there's like 5. There's probably 5 or 6 out there that are set right now.
We outright revolted and said, we ain't doing this no more. This is like the dead of the summer. I am not setting another post. She wanted us to do cross fencing in the middle of summer. I'm like, this ain't happening. No.
Yeah, she
Wow.
wants. She has like so many plans. I mean, she went through a beekeeping course. She's pushing the meat sheep right now.
Yeah.
I mean,
Well, we're trying to decide So
All
I
right,
was watching a video where they were talking about having either growing lots of vegetables or raising a lot of animals. And so we have to kind of find the balance between the two.
well, because basically the vegetables will always suffer because
Right.
the animals need to get fed, and you know,
Right.
so you have to kind of find a fine line. There's a fine line.
Yeah.
Right. And that's that time management thing I was talking about earlier. It's trying to find that balance between paying for what you enjoy, your hobby. I guess I'm going to call it hobby again. Paying for your hobby and working your hobby.
Right. Right. Yeah.
I mean, this year we had thousands and thousands of pounds of food that we grew. I wish we had done a few different markets that were a little bit busier. We kind of, both markets that we got involved with were, the first one was a market that just came back. It was a popular market in the area for a while, and then they just brought it back. So there wasn't a lot of people that knew that it was back.
Right.
It was in a great area. It was like right in the parking lot of an outlet, and there's like, I think they said there's like 15 or 16,000 cars a day that go by, and but nobody was stopping because it started off with about 10 tents of other people, you know, either other farmers or other, you know, baked goods and crafts. And by the end of the season, it was literally 3 tents, and nobody's going to stop for 3 tents.
Right.
I mean, and it was only two of us that actually had food. So,
yeah. So that's rough. So that's one of the things that we're trying to consider, whether or not we're going to either continue with those markets or try to find other markets. But we have a lot of plans to expand the garden this year. There's a couple of grants that we're looking into for a greenhouse. We were very fortunate. We got this greenhouse on our property for pretty cheap.
Yeah, I think it was like $2,500 or something like that. We got that. It's a 20 by 96 greenhouse.
Yeah.
Well, I saw that greenhouse. That's a pretty amazing structure.
Yeah, like $2,500. I couldn't pass it up. And it's funny, the only reason he chose us to sell it to, because he had a list of people that were interested, and this guy was like diehard into Celtic stuff.
Yeah.
And so he's like, I saw your name, and he's like, I had to talk to you, blah blah blah. And we went up, and this guy did horse leather work on horse saddles and stuff. Absolutely incredible. Everything was all Celtic designs on the horse saddles. And I was like,
did you wear your
kilt? I'm going to see that guy.
No.
Did you wear your kilt to go pick it up?
No, I don't think I did that kind.
He's worn it a few times.
I've worn it a few times
and people kind of look at him weird.
Yeah. When you're at the Celtic games and you're playing their bagpipes and stuff, it's kind of expected. But when you're out in public, people kind of look at you a little weird.
Right.
Yeah, I put this comment up, and this is a great way to describe it. Homesteading is the art of chasing one's tail while trying to be productive. At least it is here on our farm. Well, I agree 100% with that. I mean, that's exactly that's a great description of it.
That needs to be a T-shirt if it fit on it.
Absolutely. So
I don't know if you wore a kilt. I don't know if I'd actually even notice the kilt because I'd be paying attention to your beard.
well, Jay, you
should surprised how many beards there were at the Celtic games, though. You know,
at the Celtic games, it's like normal. If you don't have a beard, you stand out.
Yeah. It's kind of like the HOA.
It's normal to have like complete and utter elegance, like what he has on his chin.
No, he's got a
exactly.
Well, that's the last question I wanted to ask you guys, and just get, because for 3 years I've been saying to my wife, I said, we're going to HOA, and we've yet to go. What's your experience?
It was awesome.
Yeah, we loved it.
It was great.
It was just so everybody was on the same page, and it was just like we could strike up a conversation no matter where we sat down to eat, no matter where we went. Everybody was on the same page. Everybody, very like-minded people. Everybody was having a great time. Everybody's was in a good mood. It seemed like, and the
lectures were great.
Yeah.
I mean, it was really great speakers. I mean, obviously Joel Salatin was there. Justin Rhodes spoke, and it wasn't just farm related too, because we noticed that there were so many people walking around with their cameras.
Yeah.
So there were so many farms and homesteaders who are YouTubers.
Yep.
And so it was amazing that we ran into so many people who were doing the same thing that we were, documenting what we're doing on our farm and sharing it on YouTube.
It was kind of awkward because we knew, recognized a lot of people, but we didn't know their first name, but we knew their channel, or it's like, I know you, but I don't want to say anything because I'm embarrassed I can't remember your name. It was a lot of fun though. We ran into a couple of people from New Hampshire.
Yep. You were in the HOA information video.
Oh yeah.
You kind of knew a couple of people who were in charge. So.
Yeah. Our friend Jack from the Mindful Homestead invited us to go eat dinner with his friend Don. Has a channel as well, Little Mountain Life. And he was in charge of doing all the video for the HOA conference.
Right.
So we got to know him, and so I we got to actually be in the HOA. Actually, both videos that
Yeah.
they did, so that was kind of cool. But yeah, just meeting.
But it really was a great experience. There was a lot of information. There was a lot of vendors there. Again, like I said, there was a lot of the YouTubers there who were very popular and had a lot to offer.
Yeah. I just really enjoyed going around and interviewing people and talking with people. We did 2 different types of videos. We did one interviewing all the vendors, and then we did another one interviewing as many homesteaders as we could.
Yeah.
And that was really cool to meet people and get to know people. Really awesome opportunity to network for sure.
Yeah,
For
definitely.
sure.
Awesome. So let me make a couple of announcements really quick. So Sunny, if you're still in here from Sunny's Place, I sent you an email. I haven't heard back from you regarding coming on to the live. So if you check your email, get back with me. I'd appreciate it. Anyone else that's in here, there's a lot of new folks to the channel. If you'd like to come on to the live, shoot me an email. We're lining folks up, I think, now into January. I'll check out your channel if I'm not familiar with you. And if you fit what we're doing, then we'll bring you on, hopefully. I think
if you have a beard.
Or if you have, or that's the other criteria. If you have a beard.
There he goes.
Yeah.
Well, our plan is to get up to that HOA. Our plan as a family is to go to that HOA next year, and hopefully we'll be able to get up there. It's just things have gotten in the way each year, and we just have never made it up there.
I will say, if you are going to go, get your tickets early and get your lodging early, because they sold out within, I think it was like a couple of weeks of the tickets going on sale. They had over 5,000 people there that they did not expect. So there was some issues with getting people in and out in the first day. But they got the kinks out after that.
I just saw that the tickets are going to go on sale in January. So we're definitely going to be there again. We're kind of kicking ourselves that we didn't go earlier. So
Lakes in the Woods Homestead, he does have a beard. He's got an awesome beard.
So what?
Lakes in the Woods Homestead, I met them at the Gulf Coast meetup. He's got an awesome beard.
There you go.
So,
well, we're going to try to do every November. We're going to try to do a homesteader beard video. So make sure you reach out to us, and we'll make sure we get you on there.
well, if you could do it in October, because that's the month that Rick tries to take off from work. He tries not to work the entire month of October. So by the first week of November, he could have a killer beard.
There you go.
It's not going to be.
Well, we actually included all facial hair with the video because I had so many people emailed me privately. It's like, would a mustache be okay? I'm like, sure.
All right, well, folks, this has been a blast. Jay, Cheryl, I really appreciate y'all coming on. I hope you've enjoyed this. You all seem like real folks, and that's kind of what we try to bring on here is real folks with a good sense of humor and don't take themselves too darn seriously. So,
his videos.
When I was watching them, I didn't leave a lot of comments, but because I'm watching them at work when I'm supposed to be working, and but that's finding that time.
Yeah, I appreciate it. No, like I said, we still go to your videos. If you guys got paid for each time I shared your one video just on the how to make a banner, so many people have asked that, and I said I know exactly where you can get that, and so I send them over to you guys because little Rick made one a while back about making the banner, and so that's really come in handy a lot.
Well, all that technology stuff, that's his department. I don't deal with that stuff. So, all right, folks, we're going to call this one. This has been a blast. Thank you all for stopping by. Make sure to shoot me an email, and then Mulberry Branch Farm, I think they're live now, so you might want to hop over there and check them out. But we'll try to get their contact information, get their shirt out too. So everybody that's in here, we still got 24 folks in here. Thank you very much. Much, much appreciated. Always remember, treat others as you would like to be treated. La Farm out.
There, Rick.
Come on, guys.
There you go, little Rick.
All right, guys.
Good night, folks. Take care.